Somebody told me that I should talk at the very beginning here, so I will for just a second, but now radio.
Now, new, live, and local, and every weekday from 8 to 9 a.m. This is the show talking about what you want to know, what you need to know, and part of Woof Boom Radio's mission to use our voice to build our community. The all-new Delaware County Today, presented by Muncie Community Schools. Now on WMUN, the Talk of Muncie. Here's your host, Director of News Operations and lead morning anchor, Steve Lindell.
Yorktown schools in focus in a moment. I'm wearing the logo. Muncie native serves in the Navy and was part of the Artemis crew. And you'll hear her today. There's also the local news summary. We're waiting for some information from Muncie Police about some activity that happened Sunday night in Muncie, Indiana. And Ball State men's volleyball wins and advances in a big way. Good Monday morning from Studio B on the campus of Woof Boom Radio. Let's get to our first item every day. That is the weather from WMUN meteorologist Paul Poteet.
Busy little weather pattern. The overall story would be that today's the warmest day of the week, and maybe for some time. And then showers and storms around tonight that could be severe. That's probably the last severe threat that we'll also have for some time. 77 today. A mix of clouds and sunshine for Tuesday, and obviously warmer. There might be a stray shower in the afternoon as the warm front lifts over us. And then late afternoon and evening showers and storms could produce some severe weather, mainly damaging wind gusts. Low tonight of 61. There might be a lingering morning shower tomorrow, otherwise partly to mostly sunny. On the other side of the cold front, 71. And then Tuesday night, another weather maker approaches. Most of the scattered showers and storms Tuesday night are going to be after midnight before you wake up Wednesday. Those do not look to be severe. Wednesday, stray showers in the early morning and late afternoon, 63. By Thursday, high of 60. Low temperatures around 40 early Thursday and Friday morning. By Saturday morning, maybe the upper 30s, but mostly dry for the weekend. That's your expanded look at the weather this morning. Now more from Steve.
Did he just say upper 30s? What's going on? I thought we were done with all of that. All right, let's move on to our next item. Our first item for guest in studio this morning. I'm wearing his logo. This is Dr. Hinshaw. How are you? And good morning.
Good morning. I'm well. Thank you.
You're not wearing the logo, but I am. What's up with that?
I try to wear a tie nearly every day. Sometimes I take Fridays off, but it's a Monday, so I have a tie on.
I did this just for you.
Well, I appreciate it.
No. I appreciate it. Swag is nice. Okay, let's go in particular order. I want to start with the oldest information first. Some time ago, there was a lawnmower placed on the roof of one of your buildings.
Right.
Social media exploded. I mean, it went nuts. It went insane. They said, oh, school pranks galore. You're saying, no, that's not what it was.
No, that lawnmower belongs to SPG Roofing, which is the roofing contractor that's been contracted to put a new roof on Yorktown High School, and it's part of their equipment that they use to move materials around over a very large space.
It was a good story, though.
It was a great story, and I saw some of the photos on social media myself.
And the reason I bring it up is because I know how much you love talking about the roof projects and so on. So let's talk about what's the progress with that and some other things there.
We're making good progress there. They anticipate having that project completed by around August 1st, and since we have a little later start date for the 26-27 school year, hopefully they'll be gone by the time students return in the fall.
Okay. There's been a lot of things happening at your school and your buildings and so on, and it was either a ribbon cutting or some sort of an event like that. Give us a broad overview of that.
April 16th, we had a ribbon cutting for the previous project, which mostly involved a new sports performance center, but also renovation of our science labs and science classrooms at the high school and renovation of the front office. And so we had quite a few people there for that, and they were able to take a tour, and we enjoyed having some fun, cutting the ribbon, and
was
sharing
Yorktown
with the
town
community.
manager Chase Bruton
He
there,
was
just
there.
getting ripped on the bench press? Did I see that?
He was. If you know him at all, he's a martial arts expert and travels internationally doing that, and so he asked to go in and try out the weight equipment. So we obliged him.
Let's switch off of athletics for just a little bit and facilities and so on. Let's go iLearn. What's happening with that?
So we're at the point where students are either taking iLearn Summative or have taken it, and we're in that testing window right now. So this is the first time that iLearn Summative counts for students. We've switched to a different iteration of iLearn in the last couple of years, and we piloted iLearn Summative last year in 2025, but this is the real thing in 2026, and so those scores will count as their iLearn scores for this year.
All right, Dr. Greg Hinshaw, our guest, Yorktown Community Schools. He is the leader of the pack. Transfer applications update. Would you go there?
So Yorktown, of course, takes transfer applications every spring, and one of the things that the law requires is that you have a deadline to establish if you need to use a lottery to determine who gets in, if you have capacity limits. And we do have capacity limits in all of our grades. And the transfer deadline for kindergarten has passed, but all that means is that we didn't have to have a lottery. We'll continue to take transfer applications in kindergarten, probably right up until the time school starts. And for the other grades, the deadline is May 8th, and it's the same process. All that deadline does is determine whether or not we have to have a lottery. And if that deadline passes and we don't have a lottery, then we can put students in rank order after that and give them better information about whether or not they can be accepted.
How's Yorktown doing with kindergarten numbers?
So our kindergarten numbers for 26-27 currently are up about 30 over where they were for 25-26, which is good news. We like to see growing enrollment.
Yeah, up is always good.
Yeah.
Dr. Hinshaw, Yorktown Community Schools. I'm wearing his logo now, as you can see in Studio B. Let's go softball. Proud, excited? What's the right word?
So our varsity softball program has been a strong program for years. Several years ago, they actually went to the state championship game and were runners-up in the state tournament. And so far this year, we have an undefeated season where I think we're 12-0 on the season in softball, and so that's been a lot of fun to watch and hear about.
And they're going to have a new facility at some point?
So the plan is that we'll bid construction on our new softball facility sometime in the next few weeks, and we're anticipating a summer 2026 construction so that for the 27 season they'll have that new facility, and that will go right north of the new tennis facility over in the sports park.
All right, let's stay on facilities for just a second. And when I say fencing, I'm not talking about two guys with sticks going after each other. How's that for a lead-in?
Yeah. So I think anybody who spends any time in Yorktown, if you have gone along Tiger Drive behind Yorktown Middle School, there's been an old baseball, softball facility there, had 4 diamonds once upon a time. And it's prone to flooding, and it had gotten in pretty poor condition, but there was not a clear consensus on what the right solution was. And at one point in time, we talked about just demolishing all of it and turning it back into green space. But as we added middle school softball and baseball a few years ago, all the schools in the Hoosier Heritage Conference had it except Yorktown at that point in time. And so when we added it back, they needed practice facilities. And so we repurposed 2 of those fields as middle school baseball, softball practice facilities. And just this summer, spring, summer, we have put up new fencing there, new chain link dugouts, rehab the infield, in the process of rehabbing outfields. And so those are a lot better looking facilities than they were a few months ago.
Dr. Greg Hinshaw, our guest on WMUN's Delaware County Today in Studio B this Monday morning, 27th of the month already. Sheesh. Which means the 4th of July is coming quickly too, and I understand the way the 4 for the 4th works now, there is a school connection, yes?
Several years ago, the Yorktown Community Schools Foundation, which is a separate nonprofit educational foundation, took over operation of the 4 for the 4th. Jonathan Lamb is sort of the race manager and has long been associated with our school foundation. And so a lot of the funds that are generated by 4 for the 4th come back to the school foundation, and they end up in our classrooms. And so we encourage participation in 4 for the Fourth and appreciate the work of the school foundation in making that happen.
Will you be running this year? I believe you have in the past.
I hope to run. I think I've run it 4 times, and as I said earlier, the first 2 times I did it in under 32 minutes, and I haven't been able to do that in the last couple of runs. So,
but talk to that town manager guy. He could train you up.
Chase is not a runner. He's
That's
a lifter,
true.
but I know he is not a runner.
That's true. You know what? I just thought of this. I just wrote it down while you were talking. I understand that some of your students will be commencing soon.
Correct.
You're coming fast on that, right?
So I think there are, after today, only 18 days of school left in Yorktown, and there's still a lot of end-of-the-year events promised this weekend, and graduation, I believe, is scheduled for May 29th. So that's as early as we've had it in a while, and we've been able to arrange things so that we can have it a little earlier than we used to have. But we'll have a class of just under 200 seniors again this year.
Dr. Greg Hinshaw, I'd like you to be able to talk about some of your employee honors recently. You've got a lot of great people in your midst.
I think it's one of the things that strikes me the most is that we have staff members at Yorktown that are truly excellent, and especially our teaching staff. When I go through buildings, what I see is really high performance, and I hear that from parents, I hear that from students. And so when we see those employees winning awards from their associations and their organizations, we want to always try to recognize those. And so I know Paul Heidenreich, our high school athletic director, has just won the State Athletic Director of the Year award from his association. A couple of the women in my office, Kara Schock, who's our business manager, and Kristen Komp, who handles accounts payable in our office, have won regional awards from IASBO, which is the School Business Officials Organization for the state. Leah Chandler, who's a teacher at Yorktown High School, just won an award from Ball State for a project that she and her students have worked on. And so it's a lot of fun to see that. And through the course of the year, we'll have easily 6 to 10 staff members that we recognize for winning awards like that.
Fantastic. And the last item before I let you go into your regular work for the day with the tie on and everything, because that's how he rolls. The Tuesday event coming up, not tomorrow as we're sitting here, but next Tuesday, May 5. We have talked to the coach of the other team, but Yorktown will be hosting this year. It's called Smash Cancer.
Right. And Smash Cancer has existed for a long time. I think it was the brainchild of Tim Cleland.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And it certainly existed when I was principal at Delta High School and knew Tim then. And it's just a great project to try to raise awareness and raise funds for those that are experiencing cancer. And it also takes advantage of a longtime rivalry, a storied rivalry between Delta and Yorktown, and brings some positive energy out of that rivalry.
Yeah, the kids learn a lot. They help raise a lot of money. And as Coach Cleland had told us previously on an interview or more, all that money that is raised in and around our area, too, to help people and families that are afflicted by and impacted by the various sorts of cancer that we have in our world today. Dr. Hinshaw, anything I haven't touched on?
I think we've covered a lot. That's
All
probably
right.
enough.
A wonderful talking to you always. Thank you
as
for
well.
your work and service, and have a good end of the school year. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
All right, we have more coming in just a moment, including our interview and audio with a local young lady who is serving in the Navy and has an Artemis connection. That's coming up in just a couple of moments on WMUN.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, the IFCJ, looks after those in need, particularly in Israel and in Ukraine. Individuals like Esther, an 84-year-old Jewish woman living in Israel. She lives her days in fear with sirens sounding and long stretches spent in a bomb shelter.
She receives no help from others, no food deliveries, no medical care, but because of friends like you, Esther's not alone. Through the fellowship, you are there bringing food, meeting urgent needs, and reminding Jewish people like Esther, you are not forgotten.
In times of fear and uncertainty, your compassion brings hope and help. The IFCJ brings us together to help one another, Christians and Jews. In doing so, you're doing a good deed. The fellowship uses your donations wisely, maximizing on its value to provide comfort to those in need.
Call 888-488-IFCJ right now. That's 888-488-IFCJ, or go to ifcj.org. That's ifcj.org.
As you know, managing maintenance, repair, and operations is never easy. But for the ones who always rise to the challenge, Grainger has your back. From professional-grade products you can count on to fast, dependable delivery, they're there to help you keep things running smoothly. Plus, their technical product specialists are here to help answer your toughest questions. And because Grainger knows safety is always a priority, they're committed to being your partner in protecting both your people and your facilities. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
And I'm wearing the Yorktown logo today because of the guest that just left the building. Of course, Studio B is where we reside on the campus of Woof Boom Radio. We now have the great pleasure and honor to bring in a Muncie native who now serves in the U.S. Navy. MacKenzie Farley was part of the crew that was part of the Artemis II recovery in the Pacific Ocean. And our Oldies 101 Anderson Journal morning hosts, they talked to her last week. George Bremer is in this audio. We first start with our Zach Johnson.
We wanted to know, first off, just how does it feel to get to be a part of something so historic as getting to be involved with the Artemis II mission so young in your military career? What does it mean to you to be part of something like this?
It means so much to me, especially since it is the start of my military career. And it means so much to me as well because it's something that I was always into as a kid as well. So to be able to work with NASA and be able to do this and get the chance to do it made me very happy and excited for it.
How did you find out you would be a part of this mission, and where were you when you got the word?
I was in my current shop right now, and my leading petty officer, he let me know that there's a chance I could have been in it. And a few days later, he finally let me know that I was in it with my supervisor of the shop, and then we were very excited, and he's like, it would be a good chance for you. So I took it, and that's how I got there.
What were those few days like while you were waiting to find out yay or nay? Was it something you kind of thought about? Were you kind of nervous, wondering, like, am I going to get this opportunity or not?
I was, since I was very new to the command and the shop that I'm in right now. But I was also very confident in myself that I would get the chance to do it.
Such a historic mission, obviously, going the furthest into space that any human has ever gone. To be a part of this and to, I believe your job was to screen all the equipment that was used to help recover the astronauts. Has it hit you yet, that you were part of something so huge and so historic?
It hasn't hit me yet personally, but my friends and family, they keep telling me that, like, it's very historic, and I'm just very proud to do it.
So you mentioned your friends and family. From what I understand, you actually come from a military background. Is that what helped lead you into going into the military yourself?
Yes, my father, he was in the Army, and it inspired me very much to try to join myself and make him proud and then make the rest of my family proud.
Was this the plan for you all along? I mean, how did you end up choosing the Navy and going about? It's not an easy thing to get accepted and to join the Navy.
My first plan was to do college, but at the time I was very also into the military. It was during high school, and then I talked to a few people I knew that were going to go in during towards the end where we graduated, and then that's how I finally came to the decision to join. And joining the Navy specifically, I really like water, and I was really into the concept of the boat living and being able to support more aircraft.
Did the science aspect help as well? Because you mentioned the fact that you were always interested in like space and stuff like that. Were like some of the science programs that the Navy a part of? Is that part of what helped draw you in as well?
It was, yes. And this command specifically, how they worked with NASA, made me very into and hoping that I would get this command.
My naval aviation experience is all from the Top Gun movies. So I always wonder when I look at those opening credits for both Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, is that anywhere near your reality?
I would say so for the pilots and the air crew. It's very exciting to be able to experience being on the aircraft, working on it, and be able to talk with the pilots and air crew about their experiences and maybe see photos that they've taken themselves.
Have you made your family jealous with the weather out there on the West Coast, or versus what we have back here at home lately? Have you been in contact with your family, and they're a little jealous that you're out there on the West Coast right now?
Yes, very jealous, especially since it's been snowing the last couple months, and then not recently. But they're very jealous that it was like very hot here, and it was very cold over there.
Yeah, we had to scrape our windows on Monday. I'm sure you didn't have to deal with that out west. When you look at your journey from Central Indiana, from Pendleton Heights High School, all the way out now to working with NASA and working with the Navy, is there anything, my daughter at home, she's only 13 years old, and normally when I tell her we're going to have a guest, she does not care. It doesn't mean anything to her. But when I told her that we were going to be talking to you and the mission that you were involved with, her eyes lit up, and she was immediately like, really, when? What's it going to be about? Do you have any sense of that yet, being sort of a role model for young girls here in Central Indiana?
It's a little bit, mostly from my little sister. We get along very well, and after I joined, she saw me more as a role model than her sister. So she keeps helping me throughout my journey, making sure I'm okay, talking to her, and I'm making her do better decisions that she could have maybe not done if I didn't join.
Obviously, you're very early in your military career, like we talked about. Seems like you're kind of setting a high bar for the start of things with your military career. But when you look at what you would like to accomplish, hopes, aspirations, what is it that at the end of the day you would like to accomplish during your military career?
Definitely way more than I am now. I might be setting the bar higher than now, but I want it way higher. I want to accomplish having a very stable military career while also being able to provide support for people I might train in the future and be able to support the people who would rely on me.
Speaking of support, your role with the Artemis mission to make sure that this equipment was functioning properly, to make sure that everything was safe for everyone, it seems like an extremely important role. How did you approach that?
At first, I kind of took a step back and made sure that I was following all the rules correctly, making sure that I was following to the point and the dot, and also relying on my supervisors and the people who knew way more than me, making sure that I could learn more from them themselves.
Been talking with Airman Apprentice MacKenzie Farley. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, and thank you for making Central Indiana proud.
That is our Zach Johnson and George Bremer, the co-hosts of the Anderson Journal Morning Show on Oldies 101 from an interview they conducted last week. We're in Studio B of the Woof Boom Radio Group. We'll continue with more, including our local news summary in just a moment or three. Let's first jump into a quick snapshot of your day today.
It's April 27th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is Tell a Story Day. It celebrates storytelling of all kinds, fact, fiction, a tall tale, or folklore. Today's the day to tell your favorite story. In 1994, South African citizens of all races are allowed to vote in a general election for the first time. The election was held precisely 44 years after apartheid was formalized by the government with the passing of the Group Areas Act. The world's largest commercial jet, the Airbus A380, takes off for the first time in 2005. Also on this day, in 1947, Babe Ruth appears for the second to last time inside the stadium nicknamed the house that Ruth built. The legendary slugger played 22 seasons, smacking a then-record 714 home runs. Born on this day, Samuel Morse, co-inventor of the Morse code and also an American painter. I'm CJ Papa, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
On WMUN 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, and all the rest. Good morning to Sister Sherry in Portland, Oregon. And Mama, listening in Minnesota, as is Roger. I am almost certain of it. You all want to know about our local news summary. We'll get to that directly next on WMUN.
Business and economic development drives the 765. That's why WMUN News Radio created the website and the weekly radio show called 765businessjournal.com, Mondays from 9 to 9:30 a.m. Hosted by longtime Muncie resident and former broadcaster Lefay Pagese. Sponsored by IU Health, Town of Yorktown, MIPS, Ivy Tech Community College Muncie, Minnetrista, YMCA of Muncie. If you have tips or questions about business and economic development, email WMUN@woofboom.com. That's WMUN@woofboom.com. You can also call and leave a voice message at 289-6397. Here in Muncie, we know what it means to show up for one another. We celebrate our wins, big and small. And when times get tough, we lean in, not away. At WMUN, we're more than just a voice on the radio. We are your neighbor, your friend, your connection to what matters most. Every morning, we wake up with you, sharing the stories of our city, highlighting the heroes you don't always hear about, and cheering on the teams that carry our hopes on their shoulders. This isn't just news and sports. This is home. From the streets of downtown to the heart of Delaware County, we're here because you're here. Thanks for letting WMUN be part of your day. We're proud to be your hometown station. Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
Inside Studio B for Wolf Boom Radio, Monday, the 27th of April, our local news summary now. We are aware that Sunday night in Muncie there was a shooting. We do not have details officially from the City of Muncie Police Department, but we are told they are preparing a press release. As soon as we have that information, we'll certainly share it immediately. We will only share facts, of course, as they are released. And there's a lot of social media posts about some things that may have transpired. We're always kind of careful and cautious to make certain that we are getting it directly from verifiable news sources. We know that you certainly appreciate and understand that. Now, the rest of our local news summary airing for you on WMUN. Ball State wins the MIVA and advances to the NCAA tournament.
The Cardinals got the brooms out quite literally as they defeated Loyola Chicago in straight sets on Saturday to win their 16th MIVA championship. MIVA Player of the Year Patrick Rogers led the way for the Cardinals with 16 kills. The victory punches Ball State's ticket to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2022. The Cardinals will host their own region in the tournament as the 4 seed. They'll face either Pepperdine or Fort Valley State at Riverview Health Arena in Noblesville, May 2nd. Kirk Darling, Wolf Boom Radio Sports.
It was just after 9 p.m. Saturday night when shots rang out in D.C.
Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche said on NBC's Meet the Press the suspect, Cole Allen, was likely targeting administration officials, including the president.
We know that there were some writings, and we've already spoken with several witnesses who knew him.
Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Maria Alexander started a voter's guide years ago for her own personal use. Heart of Indiana United Way's Annie Wood Bell told the Anderson Journal Morning Show how that evolved into a resource for people across Madison County and now into Delaware County.
She pitched it actually to several people, she said, and finally when she pitched it to me and us at United Way, I said, let's do it. So Maria and I have done it since 2022.
Primary election May 5. Vote centers open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. that day. Indiana State Canine Trooper Enzo received a bullet and stab protective vest as part of a charitable donation from nonprofit Vested Interest in Canines Incorporated. Enzo's vest is embroidered with the words, "Born to love, trained to serve, loyal always."
Bloomington police say that around 12:25 a.m. early Sunday morning, officers were keeping an eye on a large crowd after Little 5 on East Kirkwood Avenue when they suddenly heard multiple gunshots.
It was originally believed that up to 9 people had been injured as a result of gunfire, but now we believe that there were 5 people that were actually injured by gunfire and fragments from bullets.
Shots were first fired after a fight broke out between 2 females near a Five Guys restaurant. 2 individuals pulled out firearms and fired their weapons. All 5 victims who suffered gunshot wounds or injuries from bullet fragments were 22 years old and younger, including a 17-year-old. Renuka Bachpai, Network Indiana.
FarmWise Indiana became a new nonprofit earlier this month. John Herrick reports on what that means for your food.
Jody Smith is FarmWise's executive director. She tells Inside Indiana Business that they have propelled more than 200 businesses to work.
We're one of the only states that has a system like this in the U.S.
She says, among other things, they've helped shift $75,000 to local farms recently, which helps the economy grow and Hoosiers get fed more quickly. John Herrick, Network Indiana.
One of 7 Democrats running for Indiana's 5th district in the U.S. House of Representatives is Deborah Pickett. Why she believes she stands out from that crowded primary field.
I served in the United States Army Reserve for several years, and I served in 2 different capacities. I was a behavioral science specialist, and I also was an intelligence analyst with the 21st Support Command.
Full interview on WMUNmuncie.com. The Alexandria City Council has approved payment of more than $42,000 in outstanding bills, a measure that had long been tabled because of financing issues. The Herald Bulletin says the money represents the remaining balance of more than $260,000 in unpaid bills dating to March 16th. Muncie native and Pendleton Heights graduate MacKenzie Farley's career in the Navy began with an historic role in the recovery of the Artemis II astronauts. But she told the Anderson Journal Morning Show she has high goals for the remainder of her career.
I want to accomplish having a very stable military career while also being able to provide support for people I might train in the future and be able to support the people who would rely on me.
Where are they headed? We found out yesterday, and Wolf Boom sports director Kurt Darling has more all week about the Ball State men's volleyball team.
The victory punches Ball State's ticket to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2022. The Cardinals will host their own region in the tournament as the 4 seed. They'll face either Pepperdine or Fort Valley State at Riverview Health Arena in Noblesville May 2nd. Kurt Darling, Wolf Boom Radio Sports.
Axios reports Iran got a new proposal to the U.S. by way of Pakistani mediators. It calls for reopening the Strait of Hormuz first by lifting the U.S. naval blockade and then holding nuclear talks at a later time. But that report also says Iran's foreign minister has told Pakistan and other mediators there's no consensus within Iranian leadership about what to do with the U.S. demand to end Tehran's nuclear ambitions. On a positive note, Pakistani officials say indirect ceasefire talks are still alive as their countries continuing to mediate between the U.S. and Iran. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Indiana leaders are implementing stricter oversight on the system that uncovered widespread problems in home care billing.
After audits uncovered widespread problems in home care billing, Secretary Mitch Rube.
People with disabilities, that's just not a compliance issue. It's a direct threat to safety and represents a complete breakdown of the most basic protections we owe the people we serve.
In response, the state stopped advertising the program, tightened eligibility checks, and removed about 400 people from enrollment. Renuka Bachpai, Network, Indiana.
More local every day on our free wolfboomnews.com. As we continue with Delaware County today from Studio B at the campus of Wolf Boom Radio, 6 formats, 1 mission. We use our voice to build and connect our community. Still no official word from Muncie Police as of yet about a Sunday night episode, which we will share as soon as we have that directly from the Muncie Police Department. Next item this morning, people are talking about military leaders crediting a certain group of service members with helping in the planning of those military operations.
Securing America.
During Friday's most recent briefing concerning Operation Epic Fury, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane highlighted the work of those in the Intelligence Corps who provide the information which helps plan military operations.
We have been able to do the work that we are ordered to do because America's intelligence force, including our core collectors and analysts, have spent decades searching for every loose thread.
General Kane added,
"They live in the enemy's mind."
And he said the information they provide goes well beyond combat capability.
They know their leaders' pattern of life, where they go, what they think, and what they do.
The chairman said intelligence agents spend their careers answering the questions that need to be addressed prior, during, and after an op.
They are committed to excellence in the defense of the nation.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
On WMUN 92.5 FM and all the rest, we would like to tell you that we have our top of our show coming every Monday. Lethea Pegues is the host with the most. It's the 765businessjournal.com radio show. He was kind enough to send me a note that the JLG Lawn Care representatives named Krista and I think, actually there's two Kristas. Are they both Kristas? Krista Garrett and Krista Cooks. I think I have that right. And they've got a neat story to tell. Oh, I don't want to give it away. It's a good story. I'm going to let Lethea share with you, and the guests share as well. 9 to 9:30 this morning. It's always on the interwebs, the 765businessjournal.com, managed and maintained by Editor-in-Chief Mike Rhodes. Yeah, that same guy that is the Editor-in-Chief of the original MuncieJournal.com. We have more coming this morning through the hour. It's the live program always from Studio B today on WMUN.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Gary Dick. Construction is underway on the Heartland Industrial Park, a 1,000-plus acre site planned for Sullivan County. Texas-based developers Potentia say it could drive $65 billion in total investment to the area by 2030, which would make it one of the largest private infrastructure projects in state history. The new IU, that's how Indiana University President Pam Whitten describes a new 3-year partnership with Warsaw-based Zimmer Biomet.
So since the fall, we have now contracted with 3 major Indiana companies. A partnership with Indiana University is what we're here to do.
Defense contractor V2X Inc. and data analytics startup EchoBar were among the honorees at TechPoint's 2026 Mira Awards Gala, described as the Oscars of Indiana Tech. Reston, Virginia-based V2X earned the Tech Company of the Year award. Indianapolis-based EchoBar won Startup of the Year. You're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Do you own an import-export business? If so, your company could save time and money with foreign trade zones. FTZs are designated sites across the United States where you can reduce, defer, and even eliminate import duties, helping you stay competitive in the global marketplace. And if you're in central Indiana, InZone will even cover the cost of a feasibility study to assess your potential savings, because smart companies get in the zone. Learn more at inzone.org.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
Today will be a very nice weather day. WMUN meteorologist Paul Poteet told me earlier this hour we'll get a high near 78. That's going to be the warmest we have in a little while, and we might have some strong to severe storms later today and into parts of the overnight. Hourly weather updates here on WMUN and the rest of the Wolf Boom Radio Group. Health officials want you to take extra measures to protect your face this month.
This is House Call for Health. April is National Facial Protection Month. The American Association of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgeons and Partners says it's all about protecting yourself in sports and activities. The groups encourage making mouth guards, helmets, and eye protection routine. And while spring sports bring fastballs, sticks, elbows, and unexpected collisions, organized sports aren't the only risk. The group says everyday recreational activities can lead to preventable injuries to the teeth, jaw, and face, like biking, scooters, skateboarding, and more. The American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry says there are an average of 22,000 dental injuries every year in children younger than 18. Tooth and facial injuries can be very painful and expensive. The American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry estimates orofacial injuries cost families between $500 million and $1.8 billion a year. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
On WMUN, those watching our Studio B replay later on in the day, today or any day, did you notice there was a wardrobe change during the program? What? Yeah, we even do that just to mix it up a little bit and confuse the radio buddy. That, of course, would be me. Next item this morning that people are talking about, Republicans hope that a potential Supreme Court confirmation would boost their prospects in the midterm elections.
I'm Chad Pergram with the Speaker's Lobby. Senate Republicans who fear their 3-seat majority could be in danger in this year's midterm election would welcome the retirement of conservative Justice Samuel Alito. They believe a late Supreme Court vacancy could help alter their political fortunes and help rally Republicans to the polls. Fox is told that Alito does not intend to retire, but Republicans believe a retirement announcement in the fall could shift several races in their direction. They look at how the vicious battle over confirming Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh helped boost some of their electoral prospects in the fall of 2018. Republicans clung to the Senate, but they lost 42 seats and control of the House that same autumn. Some Republican lawmakers would love to tackle the fight to confirm Alito's replacement this year when they have a comfortable 53-seat majority. Senate Republicans also thought that the decision by then Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to keep the seat of late Justice Antonin Scalia vacant helped them build a contrast between Hillary Clinton and President Trump in the 2016 election. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Listening on the Alexa devices or some sort of streamage, Los Angeles just clicked on. Good morning to you on the left coast. Nederland, Colorado. Never heard of that one. It's not far from Denver, as I understand it, on my map. Indianapolis, Mitchell, Indiana. Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome aboard. Mansfield, Ohio. Tijuana, we are crossing the border, and Chicagoland is seemingly always on. We're proud and happy to talk to you. Not only on this program, but all of our programs and our sports activity, too. I've got the Ball State logo on now, in part because of Ball State baseball. Next game that I see on the schedule is May 5, and then May 12, 14, 15, 16, and that would be a wrap to what we have planned for the Ball State baseball season. I say what we have planned because sometimes the schedule gets changed and updated. They might do one of those added in weekday games between now and the end of the season. Just never know. The best course of action is to stay tuned, stay connected, and listen to your radio friends here on WMUN. I mentioned the Monday Talk block with Lethay coming up at the top of the hour, the regular 765businessjournal.com radio show. At 9:30, it'll be the none other than a Hall of Fame member of the Indiana Broadcasters Hall of Fame, Dr. Joe Mashevitz. Who is his guest today? Hold on, I have that on paper here. Hold on, I have so many pieces of paper. Stand by, it's right in front of me. Michael O'Hara. Yep, checking my date to be sure. Michael O'Hara on All Kinds of People. That program airs Mondays, 9:30 till 10 a.m. And then just like all of the other content that we have, it flies out to the internet Muncie's website is WMUNmuncie.com, WMUNmuncie.com, for on-demand podcasts of all of the programs. Did you hear our newest show debut yesterday morning? I'll share in just a moment. We were very proud to have that one added to our lineup. Now it's another Monday and another poll.
This is Poll Poteet with Fox News Director of Polling, Dana Blanton.
Voters are seldom convinced the White House is running things well. For example, our Fox News survey finds 56% say the Trump administration is not competent at managing the government. 43% say it is. But in context, that's not unusual. Those views are in line with what people said about the Biden administration before the 2022 midterms, and they're about the same as former President Obama's ratings in his second term. Part of the national mood is driven by gloomy economic views. Nearly 3/4 rate economic conditions negatively, a level that's mostly held steady for 2 years. And, as with everything it seems, there's a clear partisan divide. 3 times as many Republicans as Democrats rate the economy positively. Even so, across the board, Democrats, Republicans, and independents say the economy is the top issue facing the country today. I'm Dana Blanton, and that's your Poll Poteet.
News talk, sports talk, community talk, WMUN. This is Delaware County Today. In that chair, tomorrow we'll have 2 guests, 2 different segments of Meet the Candidates. Yes, some more of that series of get to know and get to meet those ones that are running for various seats, near and far. We'll have that at the near top of the hour and near bottom of the hour tomorrow as we continue with that series. The primary election is 1 week from tomorrow, May 5. Remember, Delaware County, it's vote centers now. You can vote anywhere you want at any of those polling locations that day between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. You can vote early, too. Next item, an auto industry trade group is calling on Washington to replace the federal gas tax with something else.
It's Fox Wheels.
The federal gas tax for the Highway Trust Fund is 18.4 cents. It's been that for decades, and revenue from the gas tax has declined by 60% since 1993 when adjusted for inflation. Also thanks to higher fuel efficiency and a lower share of gas-powered vehicles. With the Alliance for Automotive Innovation calling for the federal government to ditch the gas tax, replacing it with a weight tax that would ensure that everyone uses the roads to help pay for maintenance and infrastructure. Many states charge more to register EVs for that very reason. Congress would likely have to come up with a formula. EVs can weigh up to 30% more on average than gas-powered vehicles because of their batteries. The group believes that changing to a vehicle weight tax would allow the federal government to fully fund the Highway Trust Fund. That's Fox Wheels. I'm Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
WMUN. We're going to go to the 2011, check that, 2021 archives. Cops and more doing good.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
Good Samaritans who helped police officers rescue a baby makes today's Dean's List. An 8-month-old girl and her mom are on the road to recovery after a heroic group of bystanders and police officers rescued them from beneath a vehicle that had crashed through the window of a New York barber shop. Officers were getting breakfast at a bagel shop nearby when they heard the crash. When they went to investigate, they found the 36-year-old mom in the wreckage with her child trapped under the car. With the help of strangers, they were able to lift the car off the baby and help her and her mom before transporting them to an emergency care center. A video posted on YouTube by the Yonkers Police Department shows body cam footage of the incident unfolding, including the heroic moment the group lifts the car off the crying infant. Everyone is fine, and it's a miracle they all survived, thanks to the quick thinking of brave officers and the bystanders who helped out. Janice Dean, Fox News.
On WMUN's Delaware County Today, Roger in Minnesota wants the payoff on the promise. I'm trying to be better at that, Roger. Thank you for keeping me honest. The show is called Porch Light Radio, the one I referenced earlier. That's new Sunday mornings, Jasmine and Sam host that one, produced by our Justin Peckinpah. Sunday mornings at 6:30, right after Taking It to the Street Beat. That's our Sunday morning talk block at 6 a.m. For Aiden Foster producing in the Axia Command Center, Steve Lindell wishing you a good rest of your Monday from WMUN.
Every sports season is built on preparation, studying the trends, making